My name is Jamie, and I am a felon, believe it or not. When I was 21, but I did want to kind of do a Who Am I Part 2 and get into a little bit more detail of what my experience was and what I went through to get to the place where I am today. And I wanted to share that with you guys and hopes that if you hear something that you're interested in knowing more about, you guys can comment and, ask me questions and maybe I can make a video on it depending on what the question is and if I can answer it in a long video or what. So I do want to just kind of lay out a timeline, a better timeline, and kind of let you guys in on a little bit more of what went on in my life and how I got to where I am today. I'm going to start off with, obviously, my name is Jamie, and when I was, I don't know, between the age of 16 and 20, I got a few MIPs, which is a minor in possession of alcohol. I partied a lot. I was irresponsible. I did drink. I did drive. I smoked a lot of weed, and no shame on anyone who smokes weed. I don't, but if you do, I'm not shading you at all. You do you. That's just not the life for me anymore. It just led to me doing a lot of other things that I'm not very proud of, but it happened and it made me the woman I am today. So it's okay, and I totally have nothing against weed at all. You do you. I was always that friend. I was always that friend that was like the soberest. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I was like the mom of the group. I was always taking care of everyone. I was always like the last one awake at every party, making sure everyone was good. Like if they needed like a blanket or whatever. I was just that person. I was always the last one up, checking on everyone, making sure everyone was good before I would pass out. I was just that person, right? If one of my friends was like way too drunk to drive, I would take their keys from them. I definitely was that way, and I don't know if that was good or bad for me later on in life because I ended up always taking care of people more and not caring about myself first. But a personality trait, I guess, right? So then, when I turned 20, I did have a fake ID and I was going to the bars, partying, underage with a fake ID. I did that. And then when I turned 21, shit hit the fan. Let's just say that. Your girl liked to party, all right? I was out at the club, I was out at the bars, I was going out of town to other cities where I could go to other, bigger clubs, and, I was all about that life, partying, all my friends that were around me, they were all partying too, and, we just had a good time. I would always just go out and have a good time. I wasn't always the most responsible. I would drive. A lot of the times I wouldn't, though. It just depended, really, but when I turned 21, I was living right next to a bar downtown, and I went over there and was like, "Hey, I want to be a bartender." And the guy was like, "Sure," and he hired me. And at 21, I became a bartender. So I was a bartender. All my friends would come to the bar, and they'd party, and I'd be bartending, and then we'd party when I got off in my apartment next door. It was crazy. Okay, I was just living the party life at that point. I mean, I was 21. I guess that's kind of what people do at 21. But um, one note I can say, I'm not glorifying this in any way, and I do not suggest drinking and driving. I do not condone drinking and driving. If you are drinking at all and you're gonna get behind the wheel, please don't. Call a friend, call a cab, call an Uber or a Lyft, anything. Do not drive. That's all I can say. Just please don't drive, okay? And you'll know why I think that in a minute. But I was 21. I was in a car accident and I made some mistakes. I left the scene, and the passenger in the other car I hit had a broken arm because of the car accident. So, because there was bodily injury, I was charged with felony criminal endangerment. I did try to fight the crime. I wanted to get a lower sentence, and that didn't happen. And I got charged with the maximum sentence. I got sentenced 10 years felony probation for a felony criminal endangerment. I was about 9 months into my probation. I got a DUI. And that's a whole other story, too, if you're interested in hearing about that. But I got a DUI, and then I was revoked. If you don't know how probation works, if you violate, they can revoke you. And a violation means breaking the law. So I obviously broke the law getting a DUI, so they revoked me. And I was then sentenced to 5 years with the Department of Corrections. And then 5 years suspended after that. I had to serve my 5 years in the Department of Corrections. So I was sentenced to a treatment program, men's prison boot camp, and then pre-release after that. So after I did all of that and got through all of that, which took almost 2.5 years between sitting in county jail, waiting for a bed at a treatment facility for about, I think it was 6 months, and then I would get to that treatment facility and I did that, and then I would sit in jail again waiting to go to the boot camp, and then I went to the boot camp, and then I went back to the jail, sat in the jail longer, then went back to another place, sat in limbo waiting to see what was going to happen to me. Then I got sent to pre-release, and I did 9 months in pre-release. If you don't know what a pre-release center is, it's basically a recovery house. Is the best way maybe that people can understand it as. It's a bunch of women that live there, and you can leave and go to work, and you can leave and go see your family for like a few hours at a time, and the longer you're there and the better you do, the longer you can like leave for. They're called passes. Basically a giant dorm apartment that all these women live in, but you also obviously get UA'd, randomly UA'd, breathalyzed. They make sure you're not breaking the law, and you have to be there at certain times. There's a curfew, all of that, right? So I was there for 9 months. Then I got my own apartment. While I was in pre-release, I was really focusing on getting everything done that I needed to get done, because I had a lot of conditions. When I was revoked, I had to get my GED, and I had to do 100 hours of community service, and I had to take CPNR classes and do therapy and get evaluated for an assessment to see if I was chemically dependent on anything, and I had to go take my DUI class because I never did that, and I had to pay all of that off, and I had so many stipulations I had to do, and I wanted to just smash it out. So I was laser focused when I was in pre-release, right? And I also wanted to get my teeth fixed. I had a chipped tooth. This front tooth was chipped, and I wanted to get it fixed so bad. So one of my goals, a personal goal for myself, was just to finally get to a dentist to get my tooth fixed. When I went into the dentist, she was very sweet, and she did not know I was a felon, and she asked me what I did, and at the time I had gotten a waitressing job, and she's like, oh, waitressing make the best dental assistants. Have you ever thought about being a dental assistant? And I said, no, and then she said, well, I'd love for you to, if you're interested, to come and apply. And I was just shocked. I was on a pass from the pre-release to go get my teeth fixed, and I had a dentist asking me to basically have a job as a dental assistant, which is like a career, and I just couldn't believe it. So I applied, and I went in, and she didn't know at the time that I was a felon, and I had to check that little box, and she said that she didn't know. She looked at me, she's like, I'm just surprised, I would have never guessed. And I'm like, yeah, everyone says that. And then she gave me a shot, which was amazing. Honestly, I was so thankful for that. And I did chairside assisting, and then she paid for me to get my certificates, and I became a certified dental assistant, and it was amazing, and it paved my way into the life that I have now, and I'm really, really grateful for that opportunity. And for someone to see me, I mean, she could have just looked at that paper and saw that I checked that box and said no, and just said screw off, but she didn't. She saw something in me, she saw how hard I was trying, and she really gave me a shot, and it meant so much to me. So I just buckled down, and I focused on my dental assistant career, and I got everything done that I needed to get done. And I then met another dentist who offered me a job in a different city. So I had to apply to move to another city, when you're on probation, it's very difficult to like move because you're supposed to be checking in and it's all this whole spiel, right? So even though I was out of pre-release, I was still on probation. Once I got out of pre-release, I was still on probation. um, I had to check in all the time. I think it was every week, and then it turned into every 2 weeks, and then it was every month, and then it was every 3 months, but whatever. Anyways, I moved to another town to get this new dental job, and that's when I started talking to my husband now. We had reconnected on Facebook. We had dated about 8 years prior. We actually had dated before I got into my car accident. And it's funny because looking back, the reason we broke up is because I had turned 21 and I was partying a lot, and that was just not him. He was not that guy, you know? And he kept telling me, you party too much, it's just not me, I don't think this is gonna work out. Then we broke up, and then like a few months later, I got into that car accident, and blah 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 blah. Right? We did long distance for a while, and that's a whole other story in itself. But I am so blessed. Thank God for Facebook. I mean, are we serious? Like, it was just a Facebook memory that popped up, and I was like, oh my God. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm a chatty Cathy. I can just be like blah 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 blah. I can start talking and like drifting off into the abyss. Okay, so let's stay focused here. Anyways, so then I was living in Bozeman, Montana, and my husband, not my, he wasn't my husband at the time, but my boyfriend, now husband, moved all the way across the state to be with me. He came, we got our first apartment. I was working there. My husband found a great job as well, and we were working, and just doing our thing and really buckling down. And then I got pregnant, and we found out I was pregnant with our son, Ace. He's 2.5 now, almost 2.5, and or yeah, he's 2.5 now, and he's the most amazing little boy. I'll like insert a clip here. He's, oh, I love him so much, you guys. He's the sweetest little boy. He's crazy, but he's the sweetest little boy. And I'm doing my thing, breastfeeding, doing my thing. They're like, oh yeah, breastfeeding is a natural contraceptive. Once you're done breastfeeding, we'll get you on a birth control. I'm like, okay, cool, right? And then me and my husband were throwing around the idea of having another kid soon, but we weren't thinking that soon. But 8 months in, my son's 8 months old, I'm pregnant, which is great, but at the time I was like, oh my God, like I was still breastfeeding and I got pregnant again, but I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. So 9 months after that, I had my daughter, Charlie. Insert clip here. She is a little over 1, and she is an angel. So they are about, what is that, like 18 months apart, 17 months apart, something like that. And she was born early. So both of my pregnancies were crazy. I was sick nonstop. I had what's called hyperemesis gardarium, which means you have all day nausea slash what they call morning sickness, all day, all night, never ending. 2 in a row nearly almost killed me, so I just can't do it again. So I have 2 kids, and I'm done. And my husband, he's done too. Having 2 kids, a 1 and a 2-year-old, is a lot, but we love it and we wouldn't have it any other way. We did just recently uproot and move again. My husband got a great job opportunity. We now live in the same town as my in-laws and my husband's grandmother, and I have a few family members here too. It's just great. We're doing really good right now. I'm making these YouTube videos and it's making me really happy. It's like an outlet for me to just be able to sit down here and talk and, I don't know, chit chat with you guys and share a little bit, and I just really like it and I really enjoy it, and I hope that you guys do too. I really hope that you guys now understand a little bit more about me and know that just because you're a felon does not mean that you have to be the stigma that everyone thinks you are. Yes, it's hard because applying for jobs or applying for housing, anything, it's just like they look at that. If you have to mark that little box, they look at it and they're like, they just judge you immediately, and it does suck. But I committed the crime, and I got to do the time, and I did, and I made it through. And I'm, not glorifying that lifestyle in any way. I'm not minimizing my crime in any way. I know that what I did was wrong, and I know that I needed to, you know, be punished. And I did my time, and that's just not the life for me anymore, you guys. I'm a changed woman. I'm whew, there's no way I could go back to that. I mean, I got my kids now, and I just have so much to live for. I just can't even imagine going back ever. I mean, me and my husband talk about it all the time. Like, do you think you could go to jail like you did before? No. No. I would not make it. I would not make it, you guys. No way in hell. So, that's a little bit more about me. I hope that you made it through this whole video. I hope that you can stick around and subscribe. If you're interested in hearing the story in detail about anything that I said in this video, please leave a comment down below, and please like this video. It's free, so just hit that little thumbs up. Just hit it. It's not that big of a deal. Just click, and subscribe. If you hit the red subscribe button and you scroll up and you hit the bell icon to all, you'll get notified when all my videos post. I am getting a camera, I am getting a microphone, so you guys stick around, subscribe, like, comment, and I really hope that you guys got to know me a little bit better and that you guys understand a little bit more about what this channel is going to be about. I will get into a lot more of that if you guys are interested. A lot of it may be a little bit difficult for me to talk about, but I am willing to open up and be vulnerable and talk and share my story in hopes that I can help somebody, because that's really what this is about. I want to help people. I want them to know that you can make it through. Just because you made one mistake and you have the stigma of a felon, FELON, on your forehead, and it seems like everyone can see it, it's not like that, okay? You can live a great life and you can do anything you want to do. No, that's not holding you back. The only thing that's holding you back is you. I love you guys. Please stick around. Please subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Mwah.